The world's deserts are expanding. Vast stretches of once fertile land are transforming, turning to dust. This is desertification, a silent crisis affecting millions. Imagine a football field of fertile ground lost every 2 seconds. That's the alarming rate at which desertification is happening globally. It's a stark reminder of the pressure we are putting on our planet. Desertification is not just about the advance of sand dunes, though. It's about the degradation of land in arid, semi-arid, and dry, subhumid areas. It's about the loss of life-sustaining resources. Desertification is a global issue impacting every continent. The consequences are far-reaching, affecting biodiversity, food security, and human livelihoods. But the story doesn't end there. There is hope. By understanding the causes and embracing solutions, we can combat desertification and protect our planet's future. Desertification is the persistent degradation of dryland ecosystems. Picture land losing its productivity, its ability to support life. Vegetation disappears, soils lose their fertility, the land becomes increasingly arid, resembling a desert. This process is driven by a complex interplay of factors. Both human activities and natural processes play a role. The most common misconception is that desertification is simply the expansion of existing deserts. However, it's more about the creation of desert-like conditions due to land degradation. This degradation affects the biological potential of the land, impacting everything from plant and animal life to the climate. Understanding this distinction is crucial in tackling this global challenge. Human activities are major contributors to desertification. Overgrazing, deforestation, and unsustainable agricultural practices are key culprits. When livestock graze excessively, they strip the land of its protective vegetation cover. This leaves the soil vulnerable to erosion. Similarly, deforestation for timber, fuel, and agriculture removes vital trees that bind the soil and regulate water cycles. Intensive farming practices further exacerbate the problem. Overcultivation depletes soil nutrients, reducing its fertility. Improper irrigation practices can lead to salinization, making the land unsuitable for agriculture. These unsustainable practices, driven by economic pressures and short-term gains, are pushing drylands towards desertification at an alarming rate. Climate change acts as a powerful accelerant to desertification. Rising global temperatures intensify evaporation, leading to prolonged droughts. Rainfall patterns are disrupted, becoming more erratic and unpredictable. Drylands, already vulnerable to water scarcity, are hit particularly hard. As temperatures rise and droughts become more frequent, the delicate balance of these ecosystems is disrupted. Vegetation struggles to survive, soil moisture evaporates, and the land becomes increasingly susceptible to erosion. Climate change is turning marginal lands into deserts, exacerbating the challenges of desertification and jeopardizing the livelihoods of millions dependent on these fragile ecosystems. Section 5. A world turned barren. The devastating consequences of desertification. Desertification has far-reaching consequences, impacting both the environment and human societies. Loss of fertile land directly translates to reduced agricultural productivity. Crops fail, pastures degrade, and food security is threatened. This leads to economic instability, particularly in developing countries heavily reliant on agriculture. The environmental impacts are equally devastating. As vegetation disappears, habitats are lost, leading to a decline in biodiversity. Soil erosion intensifies, releasing stored carbon into the atmosphere and contributing to climate change. Water resources become scarce, affecting both human settlements and wildlife. Desertification sets in motion a vicious cycle of degradation, with severe consequences for the planet and its inhabitants. Section 6. When the dust settles, the human cost of desertification. Desertification is not just an environmental issue, it's a humanitarian crisis. As land degradation intensifies, people lose their livelihoods, homes, and hope. Poverty deepens, forcing communities to migrate in search of food, water, and a better future. This mass displacement can lead to social unrest, conflicts over scarce resources, and increased vulnerability to exploitation. Children are particularly vulnerable, often forced to forego education to help their families cope with the impacts of land degradation. Women, often responsible for collecting water and fuel wood, face increased workloads and risks as resources become scarcer. Desertification undermines development efforts, perpetuates poverty, and jeopardizes the well-being of entire generations. Section 7. On the front lines of change regions most affected by desertification. Desertification is a global issue, but some regions are particularly vulnerable. The Sahel region in Africa, stretching across the continent's width, is a stark example of desertification's impact. Drought, land degradation, and population growth have created a cycle of poverty and environmental decline. The Gobi Desert in Asia is another area facing significant challenges. Rapid industrialization, overgrazing, and climate change are contributing to its expansion. In North America, parts of the southwestern United States and northern Mexico are experiencing desertification due to unsustainable agricultural practices and water mismanagement. These regions highlight the urgent need for action to combat desertification and protect vulnerable communities. Section 8. Turning back the tide: solutions for combating desertification. The fight against desertification is a fight for our planet's future. The good news is that solutions exist, and they are within our reach. Reforestation, particularly through large-scale tree planting initiatives, is crucial. Trees act as natural barriers against erosion, improve soil fertility, and help regulate water cycles. Sustainable land management practices are equally important. This includes promoting agroforestry, where trees are integrated into farming systems, and adopting conservation agriculture techniques like no-till farming and crop rotation. These methods help conserve soil moisture, prevent erosion, and improve soil health. Section 9. Nurturing the land: sustainable agriculture and water management. Transforming agricultural practices is paramount in combating desertification. Sustainable farming techniques, such as intercropping and crop rotation, enhance soil fertility and minimize erosion. By mimicking natural ecosystems, we can create resilient agricultural systems that work in harmony with nature. Efficient water management is another essential aspect of desertification control. Implementing water harvesting techniques, such as building small dams and ponds, can help capture and store rainwater, making it available for irrigation during dry periods. Drip irrigation, a method that delivers water directly to plant roots, minimizes water waste and improves efficiency. Section 10. Empowering communities, protecting our future. Addressing desertification requires a bottom-up approach, empowering local communities to become stewards of their land. Providing education and training on sustainable land management practices is essential. Supporting local initiatives, such as community-led reforestation projects and the creation of seed banks for drought-resistant crops, can empower communities to restore their degraded lands and build resilience against future climate shocks. Creating economic opportunities that are not reliant on unsustainable land use is also crucial. This could include promoting ecotourism, developing sustainable handicrafts, or investing in renewable energy sources. By diversifying income sources and reducing dependence on vulnerable natural resources, we can help break the cycle of poverty and environmental degradation. Section 11. A call to action: our shared responsibility. Desertification is a global challenge that demands a global response. It requires a collective effort from governments, organizations, communities, and individuals. Governments must implement policies that promote sustainable land management, invest in research and development of drought-resistant crops, and support communities affected by desertification. Every individual has a role to play. We can support organizations working to combat desertification, reduce our own ecological footprint by consuming responsibly, and raise awareness about this silent crisis. By making conscious choices in our daily lives, we can contribute to a healthier planet. The fight against desertification is a fight for the future. It's a fight for the millions of people whose lives and livelihoods depend on healthy, productive land. It's a fight for the biodiversity that enriches our planet, and it's a fight we can win together.